what is digestion means? Okay. Digestion is the process that breaks down the large complex pieces of food into smaller and simple pieces that can be dissolved easily for absorption.
Food digestion takes place in the alimentary canal along vascular tract which extends from the mouth to the anus. The alimentary canal consists of the buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, large intestine, small intestine, rectum, and also anus.
Digestion will break down the carbohydrate into glucose molecules, proteins into amino acids, and lipids into fatty acid and glycerol. So, it has two types of digestion, that is physical digestion and chemical digestion. Right. So, the digestion will involve both physical and chemical process. Alright, I will explain. First, physical digestion. Physical digestion involve mechanical breakdowns that breaking up of the large pieces of food into smaller pieces. It will start in the mouth with chewing action of teeth, and then continues to a smaller extent in the stomach by the churning action by the contraction of the muscle of stomach wall. Okay, next for chemical digestion. Chemical digestion is the process, decomposition process of complex molecules into simple molecules. It will involve enzyme reaction by digestive enzyme that are chemically break the large insoluble food molecules into smaller soluble molecules.
Quiz time!
Digestions of carbohydrates in mouth.
The digestive process will start in mouth. The chewing actions will break the food into smaller pieces and increases the surface area of the food for the digestive enzyme to act on. The presence of food in the mouth will stimulate the secretion of saliva from the salivary glands. The pH of saliva range between 6.5 to 7.5. Saliva contains the enzyme, that is salivary amylase, that will hydrolyze the starch to maltose, and then the saliva also will help to form the bolus and make it easier to swallow. During swallowing, epiglottis will close the trachea opening to prevent food from entering the trachea. Next, the bolus enters the esophagus. In esophagus, the food bolus is moved by peristalsis until it enters the stomach. So, what is peristalsis? Peristalsis is the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of muscles along the alimentary canal.
Quiz time! Digestions of protein in stomach. Digestions of protein in stomach.
Stomach is muscular sac with highly folded inner wall. The surface of stomach wall is lined with epithelial cells that undergo adaptation in structure and function to form gastric glands. These epithelial cells are chief cell, parietal cells, and mucous cells. Chief cell will secrete pepsinogen. What is pepsinogen? Pepsinogen is an inactive enzyme that is activated by hydrochloric acid to become pepsin. Okay. Then the pepsin will hydrolyze the proteins into polypeptides. Next, parietal cells. Parietal cells will secrete hydrochloric acid. that there is many function of hydrochloric acid. The one is to prepare a medium with suitable pH for pepsin to act. The range is 1.5 to 2.0. Then hydrochloric acid also will stop the enzymatic action of salivary amylase, and hydrochloric acid also will kill bacteria in food. Okay. The food in stomach is mixed with gastric juice that made up of hydrochloric acid and pepsin. The food will stay in the stomach for a number of hours. During this period, the food is churned and mixed with gastric juice by peristaltic contraction of stomach wall. Okay, then the content in the stomach will finally change to semi-fluid that we call it as chyme. Then chyme will enter the duodenum slowly when the sphincter muscles relax.
Quiz time!
Digestion of carbohydrates, proteins, lipids in small intestine. The small intestine consists of duodenum, jejunum, and highly coil of ileum. The duodenum is the first part of the small intestine that receives chyme from the stomach and secretion from the gallbladder and pancreas. Liver. Liver produces bile. The function of bile are to neutralize the acidic chyme, prepare an alkali condition for enzyme action in duodenum. The range of pH is between 7.6 to 8.6. Bile also emulsify the lipids by breaking down lipids into tiny droplets to increase the surface area for lipase activity.
So, we will move to the digestion in the duodenum. Okay. Alright. As you can see, I already enlarged my drawing from this side to this side. Okay. First, we will talk about the liver. As we know, this liver will produce the bile that is yellowish greenish liquid that stored in the gallbladder. One of the function of the bile is to emulsify the lipids. Okay. The bile do not have any enzyme. So, the bile will secrete into the duodenum via the bile duct. Okay. The bile in the gallbladder will secrete through the bile duct into the duodenum. Okay. Next, we will talk about the pancreas. Pancreas also secretes its juice that we call it as pancreatic juice. Okay. Pancreatic juice contain three enzymes, that is pancreatic amylase, trypsin, and also lipids. The pancreatic juice that I already tell you guys before will also secrete to the duodenum, but through the pancreatic duct. Okay, the pancreatic duct. The pancreatic juice will secrete to the duodenum through the pancreatic duct. Okay. When the bile is secretes to duodenum, pancreatic amylase secretes, trypsin secretes, and the lipase secretes to duodenum. So, the digestion of the starch, protein, and also lipid will proceed in the duodenum. Okay, this is the reaction that takes place in the duodenum. First, I will explain to you guys. First, pancreatic amylase, that is an enzyme, will hydrolyze the starch to form maltose. to form maltose. And then peptides. Okay, and then trypsin, Trypsin is also an enzyme that will digest the polypeptide into the small chains that we call it as peptides. Okay, and then lipase is also an enzyme. Lipase will hydrolyze the lipids to form the fatty acid and glycerol, that is which are small enough to be absorbed by the epithelial cells in the small intestine. So that's all for digestion in the duodenum. If you guys has any question, let me know now. Okay, I will explain to you about the digestion in small intestine. Okay, for the ileum. As we know, ileum is also part of the small intestine. So the glands in ileum's wall will secrete the mucus and also will secrete the intestinal juice that contain digestive enzyme that is needed to complete the digestion of the carbohydrate, protein and also lipid. Okay, such as maltase, sucrase, lactase, rhabdin and also lipase. So we will go one by one. We'll go carbohydrate first. At the end of the digestion, all the carbohydrate will be digested from the disaccharides to the monosaccharide. So, such as maltose. Maltose is disaccharide. It will be digested by its enzyme that we call it as maltase. Then, maltase will be hydrolyzed the maltose and form glucose. So, the glucose is monosaccharide, the simplest sugar. Alright. And then, same as like sucrose. Sucrose will be digested by its enzyme that we call it as sucrase. Sucrase will be hydrolyzed the sucrose and form glucose and fructose. Fructose and glucose is also monosaccharide. And then lactase, its enzyme will hydrolyze the lactose and form glucose plus galactose. Okay. For the protein digestion, the enzyme is rhabdin. Rhabdin will hydrolyze the peptides and form amino acids. For lipid digestion, lipase, its enzyme will hydrolyze the lipids and form fatty acid plus glycerol, Okay, if the question asks you, write an enzymatic reaction that is happen in the small intestine for the ileum. So, just one. So you can choose carbohydrate digestion, protein digestion or lipid. So I will choose protein digestion. So I write peptides will be hydrolyzed by the rhabdin enzyme, and the product is amino acid. So it's do you think my answer is wrong or right? Okay, wrong. Why? Because I don't add the water. Water must be included in the enzymatic reaction because the reaction is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis must include water in the enzymatic reaction. Okay. That's all for digestion in the small intestine. If you have any question about this part, you can ask me right now.
Quiz time!
So this is the overview that the subtopic that we learned today, the digestion. And of course, you all have homework for today class. First, you have to watch the link that I already paste in the slides. And then please do the formative practice 9.1, number 1, 3, and 4 from textbook page 150. And you have to submit the formative practice 9.1 for next class. So until we meet again, thank you.